Well, sticking with COVID, our next guest is arguing in her newest Bloomberg Opinion column that, hey, we need to stop worrying about extremely unlikely COVID risks, especially as people start to get vaccinated. Faye Flam joins me now from Providence, Rhode Island. Hey, Faye, thanks so much for being here. It's great to have you on the show. I think back to the way that my own behavior has changed in the context of just reading your column this morning. I'm no longer sanitizing my groceries after buying them at the store. And you say, hey, that's a good thing because there's no credible evidence that that can actually give us COVID.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the point of the column really was to talk about the need for clear science communication. That in this pandemic, it's a life or death thing, and yet I feel like science communication has been very poor. Experts I talk to say it's poor, partly because people are sort of erring on the side of caution instead of being as accurate as possible, and that can lead people to focus on the wrong things, not focus on the things that are really fueling this pandemic, and it's causing fatigue. And so, when there was an announcement that, there's no evidence that you can get COVID from your groceries, but that's an ambiguous statement because that could mean it hasn't been tested. We don't know that much about it, or it could mean, it's not a risk. And, early on there was no evidence, but people erred on the side of caution and said, oh, well, maybe we should, make sure that we don't get it from a cereal box.
Yeah, I do wonder if the communication around the efficacy of vaccines, in your opinion, has been really flawed. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think in a way it has, just because there's a lot that hasn't been transparent. And I've talked about this before, that I wish that the companies were more transparent about the 5% of people that still got COVID. Did they have a high viral load? Were they really sick? Now we're getting little bits and pieces of evidence that suggest they were not getting very sick, that these are relatively mild cases. But also I think when you tell people, oh, you're still going to have to social distance, you're still going to have to isolate yourself, that's making people feel like, what's the point?
Yeah, I think one issue with that, Faye, is that, well, one, people think, hey, why should I get the vaccine if they're telling me it works, but I can't change my behavior? And two, we're never going to get back to normal.
Yeah, and I think there are ways we can get back to more normal, including by starting to maybe stop scaring people over things that are very, 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 astronomically unlikely to cause them to get sick or cause them to give the disease to someone else. And then, as more people get vaccinated, there will be a different sort of moral, ethical equation that you won't have to worry so much, oh, I might give it to some vulnerable person, because hopefully all the vulnerable people will be vaccinated. And it's true that anybody can get a severe case, but it's actually pretty unlikely if you're young and have no comorbidities.
Bloomberg Opinions, Faye Flam. Hey, Faye, thanks so much for your time and for joining us on this. Everybody check out the column. It's out now at Bloomberg.com.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.